Miss Martin Muses. Welcome to Miss Martin Muses, where we muse upon what makes me laugh, makes me cry, makes me happy, makes me sad, or just really ticks me off. Well, today we're talking about something that makes me very, very happy, and it is a Silmarillion. It is a Silmarillion by J.R.R. Tolkien, edited by Christopher Tolkien. We have been going through this, the real story of what happened before the king, the one that Tolkien wrote. That is what we're going to be discussing today and over the next weeks. We are joined once again, but by Rennie, Princess Rennie. How you doing?
Doing well. Thank you for having me as always, Teresa. Very excited to be back and talking about stuff that we love. And oh my goodness. Yeah, I really did understate how tough of a read this can be, but at the same time it was very enjoyable. So pretty I think I'm doing pretty good on this one. And I learned some things that I didn't see before, or like, oh, I thought this was this way. Nope, it actually isn't. I misread that the first time, or I've remembered it wrong. So it's been quite enjoyable.
Nice. Well, excellent. And as always, once again from the future, all the way from Norway, it is the one, the only Steve Kenobi.
Hello.
Hello. How's the future?
Hello there. Yeah, I'm doing quite well. Future is gray. It's gray. It's a gray day today.
Oh, okay. There you go. You see, you not only get information about Tolkien and fantasy that we love, you also get a weather forecast. But
yeah. Oh, and when it comes to the Silmarillion, I'm starting to hate it.
Really? I'm like starting to love it more.
I enjoy the information in the book, right?
Mm-hmm.
I completely appreciate the lore. It's the writing and the presentation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, didn't you say last week you wanted to give a shout out to Tolkien for having 5 different names for one character?
Oh yeah, you did. I heard that.
Yeah, thank you for that, Mr. Tolkien. That's exactly what we needed.
And these chapters are no exceptions. These chapters are no exceptions. All right. I'm sorry to hear that. Well, maybe once we get it further in, maybe with some more of the narration, we'll see. But I'm kind of with Rennie. I am enjoying it. For me, the more I just prep myself, the more I like it. What can I say? It's very, very, very different. That is definitely for sure. And I was talking last week that Tolkien had actually in 1937 proposed some of the Silmarillion to his publishers, and they were like, "Well, no." And Tolkien, while he was disappointed, he had said something to the effect of, well, at least they didn't say it sucked. It's just, it wasn't narratively. But what can we say? What can we say? I think that once Tolkien passed away and we had this opportunity, we grabbed onto it for sure, even though I was only a baby. But that's a different story. Baby, post-baby-ish.
I wasn't even born.
That's true. You were not. There was no Stieg.
Nope.
All right. Well, I'm sorry. Ready? Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say I think he passed before I was born, unfortunately, and it's kind of sad, but
he passed in 1973, which means you were probably 20.
No, sir. I wasn't even a zygote then.
Yeah, I was gonna say I wasn't even born then. I wasn't born when he died. I was alive though when the book was published in 1977, but I wasn't reading yet. I wasn't reading anything.
I was
if so,
born,
that would be amazing.
I was born the year Alien came out.
Yeah, well done.
Yeah, I wasn't born the same way as the actual alien though.
That's good to know.
My mom's still alive.
Yay!
That's awesome. But I will say I could see you being born that way. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
The truth comes out. He is an alien. Well, let's say hi to our chat. Well, we have Rennie. Well, thank you. And Potato Revan, thank you for being here as always. Also, another one from the future. He has liked it and he says, God, I can't wear for this. I'm sure you mean wait for this. Frodo is my favorite Jedi ever. Oh, gosh. Jacob Ironside, Miss Martin and Music saying, good morning and happy Easter. Yes, happy Easter to you. It's got the vigil tonight. I always go to the vigil because no one ever goes then. Everyone thinks they're supposed to go in the morning. Good morning. Everyone saying good morning. We have Snortapoopus. We have Snortapoopus in the house saying hello to everyone. Thank you. We love our chat and we particularly love our animals and we love our potatoes. Is potato a vegetable?
Yeah, I don't know. I guess, yeah, maybe.
I think technically it's one of those things that you think the tomato is a vegetable, but it's really a fruit. I think that's what a potato is. So we have vegetables and animals. Who says he weighs a paw. Snortapoopus Cooper says, I commit many unbearable
Oh, no.
crimes. And Junior, oh, here we got a hound. We have a hound. You need some more hugs. Okay, thank you for being here. We'll see about getting those hugs. Coffee. Rennie is back from the Misty Mountains. She brought coffee. Everyone's saying hello to each other. Everyone's saying hello. Zakrot is here. Hello, Zakrot 315. I hope I pronounced that right. Let's see. Anyone else? Soul Extraction. We have Soul Extraction in the house morning and or afternoon, everyone. Thank you. Thank you very much. Always good to see you. Wow, we have the best chat ever. We have Keck44. Thank you for being here. Thank you, of course, as always, to all my mods. And though I think you're all scared away those Russians. They haven't been around lately. I guess they're too busy in Ukraine. Sultan Al-Faim, he's woof. Okay, yeah, we like our animals. Potato Revan. Reddy told me she didn't read it because she thought it was a pop-up coloring book, and she cried and threw it in a corner and said Lord of the Rings wasn't a jewelry guide. This is the worst birthday ever. I call fake news.
Oh, my gosh.
Soul Extraction says he was one. Oh, you were one. Yeah, so you weren't reading it either. Second hello in 20 minutes. Hello, the R. Oh, yes. I popped over to say hello to the return of Father Miller. He is back from his sabbatical, and he is streaming today. That today, of course, is a very busy day for all of us. JT Gunter, hello, just coming to say happy Easter and be blessed. I will definitely try. I think we're all still screwed. It's Shield Wall of Dragons. People are LOLing. I love it when people LOL. We are happy people here on Miss Martin Muses. I like when Gandalf goes, oh, you're going to make me curse, and it's Holy Saturday. Come on, stop it. Gonna be sitting. Yeah, I'm already going to hell because there's this recording thing I do with it's a Catholic thing, and they have the Stations of the Cross, and they have actors doing it, and they have Jen Caviezel doing Jesus in the Stations of the Cross. Now, of course, I originally thought, well, this is just fantastic, yay, because Passion of the Christ. The problem is he's speaking English, but he's using the same inflections and stuff when he was using an Aramaic because he had so a little bit of overacting because you have to overact. They had to overact somewhat, and so he's sitting there saying the last 7 words on the cross, and I'm starting to giggle, and I'm like, I am going straight to hell for this because he's overacting. It has nothing to do with Jesus, but so I'm sitting there going, and I'm like, okay.
Oh no, I would have done the same thing because when it gets to the point where it's just like, oh, this is just bad. You can't help it.
Yeah, and this is someone that loves Jim Caviezel, but again, just using it was just a little bit of overacting.
I mean, he's a great actor. I really liked him in Escape Plan. Sylvester Stallone, Arnold Schwarzenegger movie, but
yeah,
he's very underrated.
Yeah. Well, what was the movie he did he did a really good TV show too. Person of Interest.
Yes.
Yep. All right. Well, Stieg has been kidnapped by the aliens apparently that gave birth to him, and he since we heard it here first that he was born alien style. I don't know. All right, Shield Wall of Dragons. First time catching one of your streams. Oh, well, thank you very much. Thank you for being here. And if you haven't already, please like, share, and subscribe. Here's the thing about the Silmarillion. these chapters that we're going to be doing today, they're very short, especially the
Single.
yeah. And I remember thinking, why the first we even have this here? But as always, there is a reason why Tolkien writes the way he wrote, or the lore that they chose to include. But I like the cameos that happen, because you're minding your own business and all of a sudden they say, and then so and so shows up, and you're like, oh my gosh.
It's like, I know that person. I know who they
Exactly. You're like on Elf.
are. Yes.
I know him. I know him.
Exactly. Just like that, pretty much.
Oh gosh, Sith Lord Sauron and his apprentice Saruman says the Hound of 3,000 needing some hug. Everyone saying hello. Stieg is half alien. Wow. Oh yeah, you missed it. I don't know. All right. Potato Reverend says Stieg is off bringing his herring for a walk. Hey, I'll tell you something about herring, and I'll tell you something about that fish you get over there in Norway. It's good for you. It's good for you. It's good for your
It's
heart.
not a herring. It's more like a salmon.
Oh, Stieg, no.
Sounds fishy to me.
Mhm.
Sorry, I couldn't resist.
Oh. Yeah, your ears were burning, Stieg, were they?
What?
So, ears were
Yeah.
burning.
No.
Okay. What we were talking about. Yeah, all right. So, hail and good morning, says Salty Texas Sea. Thank you very much. Potato Ribbon, you're like Captain American. I get that reference. Yes. I do get that reference. Oh gosh. That was back before the MCU lost their minds and started to really suck. Well, we're going to start with the shortest chapter, quite possibly the shortest chapter, and it is called Thingol and Melian. Yes, precious. We are going to do or was it Thangol? Shoot, I don't know.
Could be Thingol. It's so
yeah.
hard to get the pronunciations right, you know?
Yeah.
And I even have the audiobook, and like the guy that's narrating it, sometimes he pronounces certain names one way and then he goes another way. I'm like, wait, what? I'm so confused.
Yeah, if the guy being paid to do it can't keep it straight, how on earth are we supposed to? But Christopher Tolkien, if you can hear me from the Beatific Vision or wherever you are right now in the great beyond, for frick's sake, why didn't you, each time we had a new character, put a little pronunciation thing? Or maybe that could have been the edit. Okay, before we go, we got one more comment from Snortopoopas Cooper. It's not easy to walk a herring, but harder to smoke it. The damn things won't stay lit. But I don't want to carp about it. Oh.
It's like on Return of the King, the movie, where instead of the beacons of Gondor, it's like the herrings of Snortopoopas are lit. You know,
I've never heard of a fish problem on that scale. Must be a Finnish thing.
Oh. All right. I'm going to say Thangol and fight me. Fight me if that's wrong. Thangol and Melian. This is from a synopsis. I love this, though. I'm having a synopsis of a very short chapter. Melian, who was a Maya who dwelt in Lorien, rather was a Maya who dwelt in Lorien. She was the most skillful singer of Valinor, which means she was Stieg's favorite.
Yay!
Well, as long as she doesn't sing near Melkor, it's quite fine.
Okay.
You know, she's all around, prancing around like a pansy in the forest and picking flowers and singing. Fine.
Oh. Wow. Well, you heard it here first. And you know what? There's nothing wrong with prancing around singing in a forest. So there.
Right. Yeah, Snow White did it.
Yeah. Yep. Check this. There we are. And so did Allura. Allura. Oh my gosh. Aurora. I'm just going to take my brain and send it back. That's what happens.
I don't think Allura tends to sing around dwarves, to be honest.
No. She just does yoga. All right. So we But check this out. Speaking of Snow White and all those guys, she used to visit Middle Earth to fill the silence and teach the birds. Yay! She's so she was, and she probably danced with the birds too. Now during the
I'm thinking she must have had a day off when she was teaching the herons, because they sound like someone who has had a diet of whiskey and broken light bulbs, and they're screaming into the wind.
Oh, you could be right. Or crows. Like, they're
Yeah.
just
Or
annoying
ducks,
here.
though. How the heck did she teach them that?
Okay. Now, during their great journey, and because I have a cross referencing here, the great journey was the journey that the elves, known as the Eldar, took from Cuivianen, the place of their awakening, to Valinor. So during the great journey, the Teleri lingered in East Beleriand, while the Noldor were further to the west. So you got this: the Teleri, they were dudes over in the east, and the Noldor, the other elf dudes, were further to the west. Elwë, the leader of the Teleri, while visiting his friend Finwë of the Noldor, was lost in the forest of Nan. Elmoth wait, for fuck's sake, this sentence. Oh, pardon my friend. Gosh, I give up. I just give up.
Reef.
I'm sorry, Steve. I know it's terrible. He was lost in the forest of Nan Elmoth and saw Melian dancing. There you go. She was prancing around, singing and all that. So he saw her dancing. When they saw each other, they remained immobile for the following ages in an ecstatic enchantment. So there's love, there's true love. They had a spell and they were really intense apparently about it, because dang, that it lasted several ages. His followers could not find him because he's too busy in his little spellbound stuff, so his leadership was taken by Olwë. In the later years, Elwë was known in Sindarin as Elu Thingol, aka Thingol. He and Melian became the king and queen of the Sindar, founding the kingdom of Doriath, the only place in Middle Earth where there was glimpse of the light of Valinor. The end.
Which probably puts it on the west coast.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
you
because
can see Valinor in the distance.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
Yeah. So in true Tolkien fashion, to make a long story short, Melian was prancing in the forest. This dude saw her, Elwë. They looked at each other, and their love was so great, it was a spell, and they were enchanted with each other for the ages. And since he disappeared, he fecked off, so everyone's like, well, we'll have a new king. And meanwhile, they wake up, and they become the king and the queen. Yay!
Yay.
So there, and I think this is also the first time that we see the Sindarin used, because what is he? I even wrote it here. The Sindar were named the Great Elves, the Elves of Twilight, and Grey Mantle was he. Thingol in the tongue of that land. This is from the text. And from the love of Thingol and Melian, there came into the world the fairest of all the children of Ilúvatar that was and ever shall be. So prancing, singing, and love enchantment spells brings good-looking people.
Yay.
Yeah. All right, let's see what the chat says. Your Irish descent is swearing is how we say hello. Oh, oh, I forgot. Yeah, you're right. So usually we say, well, never mind. It's not swearing. Diagwit. How do elves become kings? So because they don't change, that means a king could reign 5k years and still be the same reign.
Yep.
Yeah.
And still 50 years shorter than Queen Elizabeth. Okay, well, Steeg, I'm sure you loved this chapter because it was so short. What are your thoughts on all this prancing, dancing, kingdom,
Yeah,
and love spells?
it's it's an info dump chapter, I guess. You
Yeah.
know, you would think he's placing the pieces on the map, you know,
Uh-huh.
but yeah, he's placing them in places we will never hear from again. So it's a bit. I'm gonna get stick for this, but I don't like it. It's
Yeah.
empty information. A lot of this, even though it sounds cool, it's still empty. Some of it.
Yeah.
Hmm.
No, you'll never get flack or anything for what your sincere opinion is. I mean,
Yeah.
and I think that again, this is why some people have trouble with this work.
Yeah, it's. I said this early on that the tedious part is I guess the first third of this book,
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
and then it starts getting more and more awesome. You know.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. I very much compartmentalize the aspects of this novel, and I think, or it's not even right to call it a novel. I think that helps, but I thought it was
Yeah.
fun to hear. Like when I saw the word Sindarin, I was very happy. I got excited.
Yeah, because there's some pretty famous Cinder and elves in Lord of the Rings. So,
Yeah, yes, there are.
and I think we forget that Thingol, I want to say Thingol and Melian are parents to a very famous name. So, if I remember correctly, it could be wrong. Haven't gotten back to that part yet, but I want to say they're parents to a very famous elf. So, yeah.
Everybody Google. Because I'm going linearly through this. Well, Hound 3000 says, so singing and dancing can make two people fall in love. Apparently. Or it's not just dancing, it was prancing and singing. Well, hey, that's what happened in Sleeping Beauty.
Yeah.
Was she singing Once Upon a Dream and dancing and prancing through there and singing? And
Well, we don't know what kind of a dance it was. It could have been a striptease.
That's what I was thinking was pole dancing. I'm glad it wasn't just me.
Whoa, we just went straight to rated R here. Thank you, Keck. Thank you, Keck. Keck came to save the day. Luthien.
Yep.
There we go. There we go, Precious.
That's what I was hoping was correct because I'm like, I want to say they're Luthien's parents, but then if I say it and it's not true, then I'm just a dummy. So,
well, you see, exactly. Especially in this one,
yeah.
I'm feeling very self-conscious because I've made a few mistakes so far because it's like, oh, it wasn't Huma Huma Hani Han. It was Huma Hani Han.
Exactly.
And I'm like, fuck, I messed up again.
Well, that's okay. Typically, they'll have a second name. So if you don't get the first one right, you can always get the second one correct. Everybody has like at least two names. At least.
Yeah. Oh, speaking in tongues. Diagwit tar lorgama isma lom tua natub tatu ergahaling. If that's something that would not be taught to a kid who is 8 years old, I'm not sure. Of course, I know Diagwit and Talagama. That's a good day. And then you say Dismeriquid as well. So is that the curse word or is that the good word? Help me out there. Now, we speak in tongues here at Miss Martin Muses. Yes, we do. And the ancestors of Arwen. Thank you, Snortopupus Kuber. Yep. Thank you very much. Thank you very
Arwen
much.
is a descendant of Luthien, which is, I think it was in the appendices of Lord of the Rings. When Aragorn first sees her, he thinks she's Luthien incarnate. And he like screams out to her, like, Luthien, Luthien. He's like, no, that's not me.
Yes. And he single-handedly does what I consider the best pickup line ever. Anakin Skywalker steals it later when he says, "Are you an angel?"
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
It's like, oh, you must be. Yeah, what he screams out, Luthien.
Well, you know what I mean. He's like, Luthien.
I know you're right. He does yell out. You see, I knew we were going to get to rated R, and we're about ready to get to rated X. the true first meeting of Aragorn and Arwen. You heard it here first.
It would have been more fun if he yelled Luthien when he was having sex with Arwen.
Oh no. That's what you want to hear, is what your grandmother or great grandmother's name,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Wow. The real reason why Arwen faded away.
I just couldn't take him screaming out her name.
She gets screaming at my grandmother.
I think I'm gonna be sick.
Well, you're right. Okay, even if you think about not the sex, he basically did scream out the name of his grandmother when he first met him.
Yeah.
It's like, you're minding your own business. I'm not going to say what
Yeah.
my real grandmother's name is, but I'll call her Caroline. Let's just say, yeah. It's like I meet this hot guy and he goes, Caroline.
Yeah, and she'll be standing there in the forest, hearing her grandmother's name being yelled at her, and go, "Shit, this dress does make me look old."
Old and fat, right?
Yeah.
There you go.
Has there ever been a fat elf?
Good question.
Actually, not in Tolkien though, but they did have one in the Shannara show. They had John Rhys Davies play the Elf King,
Oh my goodness.
and he's not skinny.
No.
Oh.
Like even at his thinnest, he was never skinny.
He's big boned.
Yes.
Okay, we got a translation. Good morning. Are you having a good day? I love your channel. It's brilliant. Okay, yeah. I don't think we had channels back when I was a kid. Yeah, excellent. Aragorn is a distant relative of Arwen. Oh, yeah, that's the other thing. They're actually related.
Yeah, he's descendant of what's his name? Elrond's brother Elros, who decided to be the king of, or the original Numenor king, right? So
Yeah, we got some cousin sex going on. I think they're cousins, but they might be cousins 15 removed. So
I was gonna say it's a lot. I mean, it's a lot.
Yeah, I think they're beyond the degrees of sanguination, I think, to make it problematic.
Yeah.
Jacob Ironside says potato rib.
Yeah, I don't think they had retarded children or anything.
Hey, Dad.
Well, do we know that? Because
Well, it doesn't specify, but it's,
Well, their son became king, and he did a fairly decent job at it, from what I could remember reading.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, there you are. Jacob says, potato Reverend, imagine Henry VIII ruling for 5,000 years. A lot of heads would roll. Yeah, it'd be like divorced, beheaded, died, survived, dead, beheaded, survived, died, beheaded.
Oh my.
Yes, indeed. Yeah.
Head of state.
Jacob Ironside, you shut your filthy mouth or Miss Martin will wash it out.
Nice.
Oh, God. Oh, I'm not reading that out loud. Now, that would be disturbing. Because remember, at Helm's Deep, everyone was crying out Gandalf's name, weren't they?
Yeah, they were.
And they yelled, "Come!"
The White Wizard coming.
Peer pressure. He's like, "No, I can't," while everyone's looking.
Oh my.
Oh gosh, Hound says, imagine Arwen screaming the name Baron while doing it with Aragorn. Yeah, I mean, Potato Revan, 67 generations removed. All right, that sounds good. I don't know if that's exactly true, but it sounds good to me. Yeah, you heard it here first. This is why you get a take on the works of Tolkien you won't get anywhere else. I can guarantee you that. Well, let's go on to the next chapter of our reading today. It is chapter 5. And as always, the way I have decided to pronounce these names is, by gosh, the way I'm going to do it. Because I've got too stressed out trying to keep it straight. Of Eldamar and the princes of the Eldali. So I have proclaimed that is how I will pronounce it, and that is how it shall be. So what the heck's going on in this one? This one's a little bit longer, a little more detailed. So we got here. This is the summary. The great march of the elves finally ended. Yay! The Vanyar and the Noldor went first to Valinor, riding aboard an island pulled by Olmo. Well, that's one hell of a ride. There
Right?
they would.
It's also not how islands work because they don't float.
Quit wording it, Stieg. Well, it could have been a special island.
Well, they do in Middle Earth, okay? No,
Yeah, there you go. And this is like, it's magic.
that's right.
Yeah. Hello, Timon Flip. Hello. Always great to
Hi,
see you
Timon.
here. Yeah. What did I do? What about? Oh, I lost my place. Okay, so they're being pulled by an island that Stieg is skeptical of. There they would begin to integrate with the Valar and settle across the continent. Part of the island broke off, however, became known as the Isle of Balar. So there,
Valar.
Balar.
Valar, yeah. They say it in the movie. May the grace of the Valar, blah, blah, blah. Orwin says it.
Wait, the Valar or the Balar?
Valar.
Okay, no, I'm saying Balar.
Oh, there's
With a B.
Balars as well?
Yeah.
No, the Balar is the name of the island.
Yeah.
So
Fuck
the
this shit.
Valar, they integrated with the Valar on the island that became Balar. You got it?
Yeah.
But you're right. It probably is Balar, not Balar, which is what I said. So. Steve's losing the will to live over there. That's one Padme. All right. However, not all of the Eldar, not to be confused with the Valar and the Balar, the Eldar went to Valinor, for the Telari tarried on the shores of Beleriand in search of their missing lord. Those who remained built the cities of Brimthombar and Elgaras on the shores of Falus, with Círdan as their leader. Yet afterwards, partly at the behest of the Noldor, Ulmo went back to Middle Earth to collect the Teleri. Now, kids, don't we know this guy? It's not a quiz. Cirdan.
Mm-hmm.
He was the what? In the gates of, at the end of Return of the King and all that.
He was the one, wasn't he like the keeper of the what's
The
the name of that place that they sail from?
Grey Heavens. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. I couldn't think of it. I'm like, dang it, what's the name?
Oh gosh. Yes. Yeah. So we get the name of a famous dude. Because we know him from the Return of the King. And I even made a note of it. And this is from Tolkien's text. The first mariners in Middle Earth and the first maker of ships. Círdan the shipwright was their lord. Yay!
Yay.
Okay. Potato Reverend said, the gods you don't emphasize the second A, so not Valar, it's Valar, it's oh, fuck. All right, but they're helping us with the Balars and the whatever. It's never purpose, as the chat is slowly buried under an avalanche of elvish names. Good point, Timon Flip. That's why we have accent punctuation. Correct. You do in Portuguese and in most languages. Even Irish has it, actually. And accent. Wait, not accent necessarily punctuation. I don't know. Do they have accent punctuation in your language, Steve? I think you just have vowels.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does make things easier. Yeah.
We
That's
have,
Spanish.
We have vowel movements.
Yeah.
I should have seen that coming.
Spanish and Portuguese do, and it does help, especially when you're, ordering your maganatas. Okay, Círdan equals Círdan. Okay, Círdan.
Yes.
I think I was pronouncing it. Have fun. I don't want to meet Círdan. Okay. Well, I won't make you. Enter derivative Joe. Jill is here. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Everyone's saying hello, saying later. Yes, we have the fada. Yes, the fada. Though again, that's more with changing the vowel, if I am correct. So now we've met someone famous. I'm still not entirely sure that anything we've just read is important, but yay, now we know where Círdan came from. So, oops, need to go back. He broke wait, they had the Alar, the Fowlar. Okay, yet afterward they parted at the behest of the Noldor, blah, blah. Now check this out, this island. The island was then dragged back across the sea to Middle Earth. This is one hell of an island.
Why even bother building ships, right?
Yeah. This is like
Yeah.
the Lost, you know?
Yeah, the
That
island leaves
moved
at
around.
2, so be on it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's more tonal. Okay. Third Poop says Old Norse had long vowels marked with accent, but most of their descendants have dropped them except for the Icelanders and the Faroes.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah, I'll tell you, this is the best chat ever. They're smarter than me.
I just love it. Everybody is so interactive here, and for yeah, pretty much the most part, everybody really knows their stuff and they help out. Like when we get stumped, it's like, oh, it's this. It's like, oh, thank you, because I forgot what that was called, but I was on the right track.
Well,
And
the chat is part of the stream.
yeah, they're amazing.
Yay, I love you all.
Yeah, we have the best ones.
Yeah, we're more special. Yes.
Don't hate.
My
No,
chat's better than your chat. Well, no, I mean, it's great. Okay. Yeah, and going back to islands, Hounds 3000 needs some hugs says islands are heavy to pull and push, I guess. Yes. But apparently on this one, on their journey, many Telari embarked, but they did not wish to wholly lose access to Middle Earth. So Olmo listened to their request, stopping the island before the journey was finished. The island came to rest on the shores of the Mam and would be known as Tol Eressëa, the Lonely Isle, for it was still separated from the undying lands by the sea. This physical separation from the other elves gradually began a process whereby their languages were sundered. Here we are. That's what happens when you move your island and you don't bring it all the way across. You get a sundered language.
Yeah.
Sort Poopa says the vowels in Old High Earth sign have accent marks too, but only bears can speak. Antiderivative Jill said, I don't know anything. I just bought the book and haven't read more than 15 pages. That's all right.
Well, she's not that far behind us, though, because we're on page 50 something.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah, we're...
So, yeah. It's an uphill battle to catch up, though.
Yeah. Well, maybe you can get there, especially maybe listening through some of these things as well, because you have to go into so much detail so you can't understand a darn thing going on. Sora Poopa says, stop the island. I want to get off. That's exactly...
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah.
Imagine seeing, some guy on the island that wasn't there when the moving was decided. He just goes, damn it, I didn't want to move.
Or he fell asleep on the trip and was like, oh crap, I didn't realize we were moving.
Yeah, it's like, damn, you left my crab traps.
Uh-oh. Yeah, I see your question, Potato Reverend. I'm going to get to that in a second. Continuing, the Noldor and Vanyar initially lived within a gap of the Pelori Mountains on the border of Aman. There, they made the city known as Tirion, not that one, and with many white walls and towers, and even a scion of one of the two trees known as Galathilibebe. The Vanyar became... I'm giving up. The Vanyar became the elves most loved by Manwë and Varda, while Ole loved the Noldor most of all. So they all got their little favorites, teachers' pets, teaching them much of his smiting. Oh, sorry. His smithing, not his smiting.
Dang.
So by this point, I'm ready for some smiting.
That's right. That's coming up.
Yeah, we're gonna get some smiting. Yeah, and they had it coming too. The smithing and crafts. The Noldor became highly skilled and generous with their work. It was during these years that the royal family of Noldor came into existence. The Noldor were ruled by a high king called Finwë, who had 3 sons, Fëanor, Fingolfin, and Finarfin. We know who they are.
Yes. I'm
The
like, I was
Feanor
so
being
excited.
very important.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. And
Well, Fingolfin as well.
yeah.
Mhm.
And all 3 of them. Yeah.
Yeah.
But for sure. Yet they were not of the same mother. Slut. All right.
Well, that doesn't make the mother.
No, it makes the dad a slut. I don't know what's the
Yeah, he's a man whore.
a man
Yeah,
whore. Okay,
hoe.
I was going to ask you, what do you call a man slut? A man whore.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yet Finway's first wife died in childbirth. Oh, dang! They even died in childbirth when they're, these guys. Okay, well that sucks to be you. Yeah, die in childbirth. I mean, it was a thing. It was a thing. Even these dudes had to suffer through it. Fingolfin and Finarfin were the result of his second marriage to a vineyard named Indies. Okay, you know what? I'm feeling bad now for calling him a man whore. It's not, again, you're not a whore if your wife's dead. You're not a
No.
yeah. The marriage ends with death. You're not a cheater.
Yeah. And it said that he like grieved for her for like a long time. It's sad. He was heartbroken.
Yeah, poor dude.
Mm.
Yeah. Well, I got to tell you, this comes up in real life as well. Imagine the guilt. You're this dude, and your wife dies in childbirth. Kind of it's your fault. Not in a way. You were the one that
Impregnated her.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, thank you for the great Elvish accent. I do appreciate it. Kick 44 said, "Imagine moving Stig's island to Sweden. He'd be pissed."
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that wouldn't be cool.
Stig wakes up one morning. He's like, "Fuck, I didn't." Oh gosh, this is terrible. Timon Flip says, "What if some guy was swimming and got back to the beach and didn't find the island? What would happen, Rennie?"
I don't know. That's yeah.
He would hate his life, I guess.
Yeah, I'd be like, what?
I didn't sign up for this. Started Poopus Cooper says he shall smite the smith thusly. Oh my god. Say to Revan, he is a sperminator, a farmer because he spreads his seed.
Here.
Yeah, he had a field day.
Oh.
Very fruitful
that
man.
Hence the term plowing the woman.
Oh. Well, there might be some truth to that. Okay, now we are getting to the blind guardian part. Says Timon Flip. Well, oh wait, am I at the ding 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 part?
The
No, I
Blind
am
Guardian
not.
is a metal band. They have Tolkien songs.
That's
Yeah.
cool.
Very
Yeah,
cool.
we endorse heavy metal here.
You should
Yeah.
listen to them.
Actually, I haven't listened to them. No, you got me into that Manowar dude.
Yeah, Manowar's awesome.
Yeah. All right. Now, part of the thing about Finarfin, the sons of Finarfin, because we have Finarfin, were Finrod the Faithful, Orodeth, Angrod, and Agnur. These 4 were as close in friendship with the sons of Fingolfin as though they were all brothers. And a sister they had, Galadriel, most beautiful of all the house of Finwë. Her hair was lit with gold as though it had caught in a mesh in the radiance of Laureline. Dun, dun, dun.
Yay.
Yeah, there we go. I told you. That was when I became elf. It's like, I know her. And that was where she kind of got her name. That it was like a laurel. It was like a crown. Her hair, and as lit with gold.
And it said she was like the most beautiful out of all the descendants of Finwë, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought that was really cool. I'm like, Well, I guess Gimli had the right to get upset when people said people were prettier or other women were prettier than her. He's like, no,
Yeah, he wasn't happy. He wasn't happy about that at all.
no, he took that real personal.
Mhm. Yeah. Gosh darn it, I can't pronounce it. I'm just not even going to try to pronounce any of these names. But yeah, so we're starting to get a little bit of
Familiarity.
yeah, familiarity and some exciting stuff going on. Yeah, Snortopoopas just basically says it here. And Findolfin begat Finnegan, who begat Finn Golf Club, and so forth.
Oh, come on.
A lot of people making jokes about um, the island, prepared to die, etc., etc., etc. Okay, so we got these, and it goes. Each of these would become important in their own right. Oh wait, Finway's sons. My bad. Oh shoot. You know what? I'm gonna lose the will to live if I name all these sons. Let's see. Finway. Oh, never mind. I'm going to do it. Finway's sons would have their own progenies. The 7 sons of Fëanor: Fingon, Turgon, Evradr to Fingolfin, Finrod, Galadriel, Angrod, Agnor, and Orodeth, was in Tolsirion, between Dorothenian and the Shadowy Mountains, to Finarfin. Each of these would in their time be important in their own right, but their time had not yet come. And they do give us a handy dandy little family tree here in my source. So let's just go on. The Teleri, at last, wishing to see the light of Valinor and of their friends among the other elves, desired to leave Tol Eressëa and go to Aman. Olmo sent Osei to teach the art of shipbuilding. The Teleri built their ships and sailed to the coast of Aman, where apparently skipping the island. The Ellen method must be going away. Where they eventually built the port of Alquelonde and became renowned for their swan-shaped boats. Ding, 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 ding.
Oh, those were done so well in the movies too.
Yeah, I know, they're so pretty. Gradually, they would become come close. Gradually, they would become close to Noldor. The Noldor of Tyrion. Even though both Noldor and Vanyar had come the whole way to Aman, they would gradually begin to shift apart. The Vanyar started to learn more of the Aman and the Valar, while the Noldor still remembered Middle-earth and sought to increase their knowledge of the world. As the years went on, Fëanor and his son became students of Olwe, where they learned much of their skills of smithing and craftwork. Thus would begin the rise of the most prominent elf of all. So there, hello, Mr. Brown. Good to see you. So, Steve, what the is going on here?
Info dumping again, but
Yep.
this time it actually introduces some characters that will be important later on.
Yep.
So it's improving in my opinion.
Yep. Well, there you go. Yeah. And as we said earlier, it is exciting to see these names. So this is actually, would I be correct if I said this is info dumping with a purpose? Is that right, Rennie?
I would agree. Yes.
Yeah.
And Fëanor is a pretty awesome creator, but it's awesome to know that he's also Galadriel's uncle. So he's important. She's important. You know, Thingol, aka Finway, I think. I'm like, oh crap, I just forgot the real name. You know, I know his and Melian's story is kind of like, wait, why? But like, parents of Luthien. So, you're starting to see like, okay, well, this is how this person came to be, or this is where this person came from, or maybe this is why this person's like this, or why they have a fascination with certain things. So I think it's quite awesome. And now you know why Galadriel builds her boats the way she does, because that's what she was taught to do, so it's pretty awesome.
Yay, reminds her of hope. Yeah. Okay, well, before I go on to the final chapter of our reading today, and there's a few pretty dang down good comments here. Let me get to them. Okay, first of all, anti-derivative Jill. I'm going to lose my will to live if I name all these sons. Never mind, I'm going to do it. Yes, that's exactly what I did. I am well called out on that. I am well called out. Sort of Poopus helps us out here. And Eeny, Meeny, Miny, Mo, Larry, and Girl. At first, I thought you were saying something almost serious. And
Eeny,
Hound
meeny,
Tree.
miny, mo. I wonder where my plow will go.
Whoa. We can't keep it rated PG if we tried.
Well, I was talking about farming.
Sure you are. I totally believe you.
Yeah, they're vegans.
Oh. All right. Hound 3000. Tom, Dick, and Harry too. Yes. Yeah. Hello, BC, aka the New Dark Shadow. Hello, room. Why, hello there. Nice to see you. Thank you. Always great to see you all here. We have a great chat, and we are kind of getting somewhere. We're kind of getting somewhere.
Oh, can I mention also they talked about Yavanna creating basically a white tree for that. I think is it Balar or is it not Valaquinta? I can't remember the name. There's so many, but
Yeah.
she creates a white tree in kind of like reflection of Telperion. But
Yep.
from that white tree comes saplings, and one of the saplings becomes a white tree of Numenor, which becomes a white tree of Gondor, which is awesome.
Yes.
So, sorry, I just had to. I was like, oh, I almost forgot. That's really cool about this chapter too.
No, you are absolutely correct because I even have that in my notes here, which I've written inside my book. It's all highlighted. No,
Good
that's a very good
grief.
point. Yeah, and so again, another connection, as you said, to what we see in the people we love from later.
Yay.
Yeah. Also, they were all into jewels, pearls, and all this stuff, and they spread them around. They weren't greedy about them, so lots of pretty things.
Unlike the dwarfs, where they're like, mine.
Yeah. Well, and that comes later, and I think there are aspects of Eden going on right here. Like this is before the Great Rebellion and all that, so that's why there was so much prancing and singing and cheering and all that.
Yeah.
Light of the tree, etc., etc., etc. Sora Poopa says, knowing how to plant your seed in the proper furrow is very important for Okay, Hound says, we are talking about agricultural stuff. That's all. Move along. And Snorpoop is Shimp, the forgotten elf. Okay, maybe I put what the F is the Arkenstone? The Arkenstone. And what was stolen shall be returned. One of the best parts of the Hobbit show. Da 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 da. Some folks will never forget. But this is not going to become a singing show because Stieg will murder me with his laser eyes of rage coming across the ocean.
Oh, wow. I didn't know I had it in me.
I know. I have just bestowed upon you the power. You're not into singing. You're not into musicals. Potato Revan. What happens when Frodo, Gimli, and Bilbo die since they are in the Undying? Yeah, this is a question I said I would get to later. I think they just kind of die because eventually they do die. They just
basically they go to heaven, in a sense.
Yeah. I always felt like that's the case.
Yeah.
Sorry, Teresa.
No. That's quite all right. They still have the same fate as their people. They just get to live a bit longer. The same way with Aragorn. They just lived even longer. But they were happier because they weren't in the world that the rest of the people were left in. I guess I could say shit. I said every other word on this channel.
Yeah, I'm shocked. Saying words like that during Easter.
Oh, no. Oh, I'm being shamed.
You get no judgment from me, Teresa.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of Hail Marys for you next week.
Oh.
You ain't right, Stieg. You ain't right.
Oh my gosh, he's giving me. Oh, I already said that, but they are not in heaven. I think eventually, once they die, they do. Yeah. There was a theory that the Arkenstone is a Silmaril. Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
that has been debunked
Hmm. Yeah.
actually, but it was a good theory.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, it isn't.
Yeah. And not only that, correct me if I'm wrong, there has been talk that if Tolkien had known when he knew and all that, he might have tied the Arkenstone into the Silmarils. It
Yeah,
might have made sense. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think it would have been cool
Hmm.
if it was one of the Silmarils.
Yeah, I do too. Because they're supposed to be like the most beautiful jewels like ever.
Hmm. Yeah, and I think because speaking of Sundering, because of the way that he ended up writing his story, because he started with the Silmarillion, and out of that came the different stories like the Hobbit, and then the Lord of the Rings came out of that. If he'd have maybe done it the other way around, maybe he might have made that tie. But he didn't because that's the way life is. Well, guess what we get to go on to now? You knew you were waiting for it. You knew you were waiting for it, except I just realized I spelt it wrong because you bastard. I shouldn't say that about Tolkien. May he rest in peace. I spelled Melkor wrong. Now I'm going to save it. We have a Feanor and the Unchaining of Melkor.
Woo.
Yeah, this is a big deal.
Yes.
Mhm. Yes, a very big deal. And wouldn't this be the great title of a Pulp Fiction kind of thing? You could see it being like Conan and the Unchaining of.
Actually, there is a book called Conan the Unchained.
There you are.
Yep.
Maybe it was in my subconscious. I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
Uh, but yeah, the Unchaining. But isn't that a cool title? See, that's where it's like, hey, this is fun. We could make a short story out of this and have a dude with his shirt off going there. But we digress. Summary. So,
I don't mind that. I'm just saying.
yeah, I know. No one will say no. I won't say no. From the synopsis, there was much glory and bliss. We endorse glory and bliss, by the way, here at Miss Martin Muses. There was much glory and bliss during the days of the noontide of Valinor. In those days, the Noldor learned great skill of craftsmanship, and Rumel of Tyrion first created signs for writing. I lost my friggin' place. Okay. The son of Finwë and Miriel were also born during this time, and he was called Feanor. And I'm going to call him Feanor.
It's Feanor.
Okay, I'm going to call him Feanor. Feanor.
I think it's Feanor.
What you said sounds much better, Steve, so I'm going to go with you. Feanor. However, after the birth of Feanor, Muriel was consumed in body and spirit and longed for release from life. She was losing the will to live. Finwë was troubled, and Muriel departed to Lorien, but where it was hoped she would find healing and rest. But even as she lay down to sleep, her spirit left her body and came to the halls of Mandos, and Finwë grieved the loss of his life. Yes, we spoke of this. And he afterwards devoted all of his love to Feanor, who grew to be the mightiest among the Noldor in body and mind. You see, he could have this Conan cover. Body and mind. Feanor became skilled in the making of gems and bright jewels. He was wedded to Nerdonal, whose father, Matan, taught him much of the working of metal and stone. To Feanor, Nerdonal bore 7 sons.
Dang.
Now, well done, lady. Well done. Sort of poop, it says. Glory and bliss. Nice sisters. I remember. Oh, damn. Okay. The Curse of Feanor, Blind Guardian, 1998.
Yep, that's a song. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, we could do the songs of the heavy metal songs of Middle Earth and everything else that goes with it.
Yeah, I think Nightwish has at least one as well.
Oh,
It's
there we
called
go.
the Elven Path. They even have little snippets from the Ralph Bakshi Lord of the Rings in it, the ring verse
Oh,
from it.
Cute. Now, Finwë, the father of Theanor, wedded Indis, his second wife, and was happy again. Yay!
yay.
So it took him a while. But Theanor cared little for Indis or for her sons Fingolfin and Finarfin. I know this story and many other myths, etc., and it never ends well. And there was division between them. It came to pass that Melkor was granted pardon and was released to dwell in Valmar, having served his term. What could possibly go wrong? Rennie, it always seems to me in these stories that they're always like, well, the bad guy kind of says he's changed, kind of served his time, so let's just let him go.
Yeah, he's
Well,
completely rehabilitated. Not.
well, one thing they pointed out though in the chapter is that a lot of the Valar don't understand evil because they don't have it in them.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting. Especially, I think they focused on Manwë being most ignorant of evil.
Yeah.
And I thought that was a quite interesting point to bring up. Um, but I do like how they mention that Feanor is never phased by that. He knows that Melkor is full of crap, so to speak. They don't use that terminology in the book, but he knows like Melkor's full of crap. He's always hated him. He still doesn't like him. He still doesn't trust him, and he refuses to listen to him while the other elves listen to his counsel.
There you go, exactly what they said. Yeah, no, it's absolutely true that Manwë, especially, he was not able to kind of get it. Not
Yeah,
yet.
so he couldn't see the evil because he didn't know what evil was, I guess, so to speak. I don't know. It's kind of interesting how they worded that. And I'm like, okay, well, that's fair because he's ignorant to it, so he doesn't see it.
Hmm. You learn through experience. I'm reading now from the actual text where Melkor sees their glory and their bliss, and envy was in his heart. Glory and bliss has a way of bringing out the worst in some people who are jealous. He looked upon the children of Iluvatar and that sat at the feet of the mighty, and hatred filled him. Yeah, hates those children of men, or rather, children. You know what I mean. All right. He looked upon the wealth of bright gems, and he lusted for them. Man, he's hitting every seven deadly sin on this one.
Yeah.
But he hid his thoughts and postponed his vengeance. And oh my gosh, why does he have to say Melkor abased himself at the feet of men?
Yeah, he probably just laid down and groveled kind of worshipfully.
Well, yes,
Yeah.
that's well, that's what it is. Yeah, I'm
He
sorry.
abased himself. He didn't prostrate himself.
Oh, well, he abased himself at the feet of Manwë and sued for pardon, vowing if he might be made only the least of the free people of Valinor, he would aid the Valar in all their works and healing the hurts of the world. So he's play acting exactly what they want to hear.
Yeah.
Which seems to be a pattern in life too, psychos and all claiming they have changed. Hey, it's going to be good now. I changed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
One of the serial killers, what was his name? The co-ed killer, because he had originally killed his first two people when he was 15, and later when he was being interviewed, he said, "How were you able to convince them to let you go?" Because he convinced them that he was batshit crazy and he was in like an insane asylum or something, and they let him out because he convinced them that he had been cured, but he hadn't. And he said, so matter of factly, he said, I told them exactly what I knew they wanted me to say. He said he was listening, he was paying attention.
Well, that's pretty freaking smart, but that's sad.
And it's freaking creepy because he, of
Yeah.
course, went on to kill, I think, at least seven people, the youngest of which was a 15-year-old girl.
Mm. You know,
But
it's sad because there are people that truly do atone for the things they did and do feel remorse, and they do correct the behavior, so to speak, because they it sinks in and it's like, oh my God, I can't believe I did this, or I put somebody through that. But then you have some people that no matter what, there's just no being authentic. It's just they've just got that current or constant need to continue to be nasty.
yeah, absolutely. This is a good analogy here. Snort Poopa says, I've seen some managers in real life who were decent, but would pick the worst people to be their protégés because they couldn't understand just how rotten they were. Yes, that has
Yeah.
happened. Yep. And I had a situation like that in a music situation, and everyone else in the team saw this person exactly for the snake he was, but he was able to say exactly everything right. And when the rest of us were trying to bring forward, hey, this is something wrong, this is something a little disturbing, they were able to gaslight us very easily. Be like, what are you talking about? This person's great. Listen to what he says. Listen to what he does. You're just jealous.
Yeah.
And they put it back on you. Good question, Potato Revan. He actually speaks at length about that, about how he stayed a Catholic even though he saw what was bad with Earth. Well, but see, part of the whole thing is we're not supposed to be happy in this world, which conversely sometimes makes you happier. So when things suck and go to hell, you're not going, why? You knew it was supposed to happen like that. It's what was the long defeat, which he wrote into his work. But here it is from Tolkien's words, because I'm now in his summary. Manwë was free from evil and could not comprehend it, as we said, and he knew that in the beginning, in the thought of Iluvatar, Melkor had been even as he. That's also part of it. And he saw not to the depths of Melkor's heart, and he did not perceive that all love had departed from him forever. So he could not comprehend it because he was so free from evil, and also at the same time he was like, this dude was created as we were, so he couldn't understand how someone could be irreparably bad. And it was Olmo who was not deceived. And check this out. Tulkas clenched his hands whenever he saw Melkor, his foe, go by. By golly, that'll show him. I clenched my hands at thee. I love Tolkien.
Yeah.
For if Tulkas is slow to wrath, he is also slow to forget. Which, in the end of the day, maybe is the best way to do. That it's like the expression that you can forgive someone, but you should never forget.
Yeah. And like the whole fool me once and fool me twice thing.
Precisely. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Isn't that the story of my life lately?
Same here.
Yeah. But they obeyed the judgment of Manwë. For those who will defend authority against rebellion must not themselves rebel. Yes, see, that is where evil is using the goodwill and the ordered view of authority against them. We see this in real life too. Is that, well, we can't cheat, that's wrong, but the other side cheats, and
Yeah,
they're
exactly.
using our goodwill against us. It's like, well, we can't rebel against authority while they're all going suckers.
Yeah.
What does he say? Potato Reverend. This is a good analogy. I know of and used to be that guy who fell for the girl's cutesy act. I haven't personally, but I have seen it. And you know what's really funny? The women around this, we're not fooled. That's why
Yeah. Exactly.
I had a friend that's happened to him. This is several years ago. And I said, well, if you'd have stopped and looked at all the women around you and her looking daggers and going, oh my God. that, but that's also another aspect of it. What is it? a quote I saw once that women hate women because we understand each other or something.
That makes so much sense. Yes.
Yeah. But yeah, it's another form of deceit. And in the situation that I was talking about with the musician, it was a dude. So everyone is capable of deceit. Tolkien sounds like a child who gets angry and clenches their little fists. Wait, Tolks?
I
Wait.
think he means Tolkus.
Oh, Tolkus, gotcha. Understood. Or it could just be Tolkien having very fancy language because that's what he does.
Yeah.
Now, in his heart, Melkor most hated the Eldar, both because they were fair and joyful, and because in them he saw the reason for the arising of the Valar and his own downfall. Yeah. These are Luciferific parallels. Is that a word?
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, therefore, and always ask what it's there for when you see therefore, all the more did he feign love for them. See, he was playing their game, pretending to love them and seek their friendship, and he offered them the service of his lore and labor in any great deed that they would do. He inserted himself, haven't we seen that happen? He inserted himself into the situation. Okay. The Vanyar indeed held him in suspicion, for they dwelt in the light of the trees and were content. And to the Teleri he gave small heed, thinking them of little worth, tools too weak for his designs. Again, looking for who can only bring him advantage. I can't read. But the Noldor took delight in the hidden knowledge that he could reveal to him. Aha, you see, he's starting to appeal to their vanity. I'm going to give you hidden knowledge. And some hearkened to words that it would have been better for them never to have heard. Tickling ears. We got some worm tonguish action going on. Milk. True?
Yeah.
Yeah. Melkor indeed declared afterwards that Feanor had learned much art from him in secret and had been instructed by him in the greatest of all his works. But he lied in his lust and his envy, for none of the Eldalib ever hated Melkor more than Feanor, son of Finwë, who first named him Morgoth, and snared though he was in the webs of Melkor's malice against the Valar, he held no converse with him and took no counsel from him. For Feanor was driven by the fire of his own heart only, working ever swiftly and alone, and he asked the aid and sought the counsel of none that dwelt in Aman, great and small, save only for a little while of Nerdal the Wise, his wife. Dun, dun, dun. So, Stieg, what the hell is going on?
Oh, the villains lose.
Yeah?
Yeah. You had a lot of build-ups and, things were good. They were building the world, basically. Characters introduced, and now they screwed up.
Mm-hmm.
They became too liberal.
Oh, dear.
Yeah, or illiberal, because liberals have hijacked the word liberals. And Driven Gel says he hates them because he ain't them. Yeah, that's true. Jealousy, absolute jealousy. Thank you
Lots
for Matt.
of envy.
Yeah, no, it's exactly right. But I just get so fascinated, Stieg. Maybe because I relate to this, I get so fascinated by the wicked using the best parts of your nature, my nature, against me. It's so insidious. I don't know. Rennie, is this a story of your life? I don't know.
Yeah, that's the thing. So, not so much in recent years. So I used to be very assume the best in people. Now I don't. I typically assume the worst. I'm just going to be honest due to past experience. So because people would use my kindness or my naivety about certain things against me, or my tendency to forgive. So, that's exactly what what Melkor is doing. You know, he's using the ignorance of the Noldor elves and or their thirst for knowledge against them, which winds up creating something in the future. But yeah, so they're all listening to him intently, and Feanor's like, "Nah, screw you. I don't want to hear it." And you know, he's also using the ignorance of evil against the Valar.
Mhm.
So pretty
Yeah.
interesting how they show what a snake he can be, and how easy it is for him to just, you know, play Mr. Good Guy and everybody fall for it. You know, or
Yeah.
almost everybody.
Yeah, almost everyone. Because then, yeah, there's always that person going, "I'm not falling for it. I
Yeah.
am not." Yeah.
It's like, yeah, right.
Yeah, and I should say yes that over the years, I of course have learned. Um, you know, how many long have I been in the workforce? 20 plus years. I've almost figured it out, but I swear sometimes you always think, well, maybe this person really is sorry. Maybe I need to give this person a second chance. And I think it's interesting, though, that if you really delve deep into the matter, it is never required for somebody to involve themselves, whether professionally or personally, or as a patron or Patreon. It is never required to do that. Now, you might work to have maybe a better attitude, not be so bitter, maybe not harbor hatred toward that person, but nobody is obliged to have your audience, your time, your money, or even your goodwill.
Yeah, very true.
That's hard, though, to come to
Yeah,
because people are very good at making it look like, well, then you're a bad person.
exactly. You don't want to help this person out, or you know, don't
Yeah.
want to, you know, help them to succeed in this and this. And it's like, well, we're all a team, and let's work together. And
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then, I don't know how many times it's happened where I just suddenly realized, wait a second, how come I'm the one that's only doing all the work and the forgiving or the this and the that, and everyone else is just doing whatever the hell they want?
yeah, what's
Usually,
going on
usually,
here?
usually when someone wants to work as a team, it basically means, hey, all you people work to help me gain.
Yep.
That's usually how it works.
Yeah,
The more I live, the more I do see it that way. I really do. And then, but again, don't you sound like the asshole though if you say no? I don't want to work
Yeah.
as a team. Then you're the
it's
bad guy.
exactly. It's like, you're not a team player, and you don't really fit with the rest of us. So,
Yeah.
you know, it's tough. It's like a double-edged sword. But I will say there are some genuinely good people that have great ethics. It's just the ones that have such the bad ethics or bad sense of, you know, right and wrong, so to speak, that make you sour and make you not trust the ones that are actually decent. So,
Mhm.
you know, it's tough.
Yeah. One of my personal favorites is I thought you were my friend.
Yeah.
Oh
Because,
yeah.
hmm yeah, I thought you loved me. And it's a form of manipulation. I've just lived long enough in this bad world. Shield Wall of Dragon says, if that happens, I walk away. Yeah, and that's where
Yeah.
I am right now. Yeah,
You have to. You have to learn to walk away sometimes.
yeah. Pereira says, I live by the line. Don't believe my kindness as weakness. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I bring this up not just because I feel like it, but also this, I believe, is apropos to what Tolkien is showing us. This is how someone like Melkor continues to come back.
Yeah. This is how he thrives.
Yeah. And he knows how to play the game. And because, you see, the thing that was making Manwë give him the benefit of the doubt was the very thing that Melkor was using against him.
Exactly.
Yeah. Tolkien has such a grasp of human nature, the best of human nature, and the worst. Yeah. Snortapoopin says, I was so tired of that from one former co-worker that I told them I was going to work on the project alone and get it done, but I told them to feel free to take credit for it. Yeah.
Oh, that's not fun.
It's not fun. It's sad. Well, I don't think I'm giving any state secrets in a situation not recently where somebody was doing something very, very similar. And it's like, you have to do what I say and blah, blah, blah. And then they were like, yeah, well, we put him in charge. And I was like, okay. So I went through, they did everything, all this training that they wanted me to do that I, as an experienced musician, had said, no, this isn't going to work. And then when my contract was up, I wrote them very kindly, thank you very much. I'm going to be moving on now. And I did walk away, and they wasted all that training on me. just saying. It's like, fine. Okay. I've said my thing. You don't want to hear what I have to say. So, okay, I'll do exactly what you want. But the one thing they didn't anticipate was I would walk away.
Did you flip your hair as you walked?
Not quite.
Oh.
Not quite. I did smile. And no, I told one person that he should be ashamed of himself. And for me, that's actually pretty harsh. When you say that, you mean it. But they knew that I'd checkmated them because there was nowhere for them to go. Once you don't have to renew your contract once the contract is up. And I wasn't the only one that walked away. So you can always walk away. Timon flips it, as did I. I walk away from false righteousness. Yes. Yeah. Okay, I'm sorry, Rennie. Go ahead.
No, you're fine. I'm sorry. I hate to interrupt. But I commend you on your honesty. And I think, better than, telling people what they want to hear, tell them what they need to hear sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
sometimes it's tough.
That's not a good thing on YouTube.
I think we're all kind of talking about the same thing here, actually. We've all learned the hard way, haven't we?
Oh my goodness.
Because you're the villain, right? Tell us, please be honest with us. You're honest with them. How dare you?
That is so rude. You're so mean. But at least you can walk away saying you were being honest and you stuck to your integrity.
Yeah. And if you're doing so in kindness, no one likes a dick, but I always say if you have to resort to making fun of someone's looks or weight or something, that's how okay, it's like no, that's being a dick. If you're going for someone's arguments, that's a whole different story. Yeah. Timon Flip says, and selectable morals. Yeah, that what you're talking about there, Timon, is hypocrisy.
Yeah, morals in proportion to the other person's sub count.
I'm laughing because it's true, and I don't want to get in trouble. So yes, and yes. But it also applies to other things as well. But I will say this. If you are true to yourself and if you are honest, you never go wrong. Honest without being cruel. Everyone knows that there's a line you never cross. You never cross the line into cruelty. You can cross the line into righteousness, but not cruelty. What's the expression? It was one of my quotes of the day. It's okay to be angry. It's never okay to be cruel.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah. Completely fair.
Yeah. Because if you become cruel, then you've actually lost. It's using the ring. If you use the tool of the ring to defeat your enemy, you don't defeat your enemy. You become your enemy.
Yeah.
Which is why I love Tolkien.
It's one of those things, you're no better than the person that, has wronged you if you're going to stoop to their level,
Yeah, exactly. And this applies to so many different levels. It's called politics, the world, our
Yeah.
work situations, our interpersonal situations. Shield Wall of Dragon says, I worked with team dynamics most of my life, but institutions that have a rigid hierarchy and rank system make working in teams much easier. You don't have to negotiate as much to gain accord. Yes, that's what I would call a good team system,
Yeah.
a genuine team system. I think what we're talking about is using let's all be a team as a deceptive practice, as they don't really mean
Yeah.
it. They just mean I want to use you. Yeah, I once had somebody say, well, why don't you just tell me how you do your job? And I went, okay, I do this. And then the person was all, well, could you write it all down for me? And I was like, well, you can look it up online if you want to. It's like, send it to me in an email. So I just sent him a link to like Music 101. And then he knew that I was onto him. Yeah, he was, never mind. It's just, I'm not going to talk
Yeah.
anymore about that, but it's just like, yeah, when somebody is not acting in good faith, you can usually tell when you're being used.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
But let me see. Towards the end of my life, Potato Reverend says, my granddad was very sick. He became cruel for a few weeks and then said he was just scared and tried to drive people away. He made amends with his daughters before passing. Yeah. Well, see, and that's a situation of, obviously, it's not genuine cruelty. It was part of him dealing with end-of-life issues. And that's great that he made amends. Hound, who needs some hugs, also needs to sleep because it is midnight here. Oh, I didn't realize you were also from the future. Have a good weekend and good Easter, good night, morning, and afternoon, everyone. Yes, thank you. And we got really deep. And you know who I blame? I blame Tolkien. Why did he have to have such an insight that I related a little too much to at this point in my life? Especially in some of the things we've seen going on in the world, I think we can relate to that as well.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, shucks. Okay, I do like to talk about fudge. Where'd my book go? Did I drop my book? I probably dropped my book because I drop everything. I dropped my own head if it wasn't screwed on to my neck. I want to talk about what will be the next things that we write. That we read for next week. My brain cells are more than any other thing I think that we have done. When I get to the end of a Silmarillion book stream, I'm like, blah, blah, blah. All right, we have chapter, the one about the Silmarils, chapter 7 of the Silmarils and the unrest of the Noldor. Chapter 8 of the Darkening of Valinor, and Chapter 9 of the Flight of the Noldor. I'm looking here. It looks like we have how many pages? This might be too much. Okay, I'm going to make. Should I make an executive decision? Should we not do of the Flight of the Noldor? Is that too long or?
Yeah, that might be because I think that's when like a lot of crazy stuff happens.
Yeah,
if I remember right.
we're looking at like 20 plus pages. And if this was anything but the Silmarillion, I think I would say, oh hell, let's do it. So we are not going to do that. And then the next week, there's some very short chapters that I think that we're going to be too. So I am going to do this and stick to this. We are going to do 2 chapters next week. We're going to do 2 chapters next week because it is so deep. Of the Silmarils and the unrest of the Noldor, and chapter 8 of the Darkening of Valinor. So that is a reading of only about 20 pages. I think that's fair.
Yeah.
Forever hold your peace. Sound good to you, Stieg?
Yeah, sounds good.
20 pages of dense information is okay with me.
Yeah, okay, and ready. Yeah, you've voiced your opinion. Okay. Everyone's hugging and giving nighty nights, good night,
Aw.
sleep tight. Oh, yeah, we like our audience, we like our chat, and we like our Tolkien, and I also like the bitter darkness of my thoughts. Okay.
Okay, that got dark.
That just came out. Yeah. I'll tell you, I related too much to that Melkor thing and Monway thing. That's what I did. I related far too much to that. Potato Ribbon says, I don't think if we sat down with Tolkien and got talking real time, we would end up bawling. Yeah. We would definitely end up bawling. We'd also probably be in a state of despair. Well, because remember, what did he say? History is one long defeat.
Yeah.
Yeah. And as a man who has seen, as you said, Potato Ribbon, World War I and World War II, and no one learning a damn thing. Yeah, I agree. Potato Ribbon says, you will get a cake and have a party for the end of Silmaril. Well, maybe we should. Maybe we should. Oh, no, Snorted Poopits. You're right. He did spell it. Balling, Balling, or bawling. I sincerely hope if we were on Tolkien, it would be Bawling.
Yes, I vote yes.
Okay, Stig, I'm going to first go to you about any thoughts you have about anything we've talked about today in these 3 chapters, or if you want to bring it up from the very beginning of the Silmarillion, anything up to this point.
Oh, not really, but we're starting to see familiar faces, and we're starting to get a plot instead of just info dumping.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's pretty much it.
Mm-hmm. Well, you got that there. How about you, Rennie?
Yeah, I like, especially this go round, I feel like I've absorbed a lot more. So it's not as difficult. But yeah, like seeing the origins of, Galadriel and her family, and also, knowing why, you know, why some of the elves wanted to be in Valinor and why not, or, because you don't really know a whole lot of that in Lord of the Rings. It's like, if they had a chance to be in Valinor, why didn't they just stay there? And
Mm-hmm.
but I know by Iluvatar they weren't really meant to be in Valinor. So
Mm-hmm.
it's just kind of interesting to kind of see some of those dynamics, or the dynamics between them and the Valar. I think that's really interesting as well. And to see the differences between the 3 basic groups of elves as well. So it's kind of neat to see, okay, well, like the Noldor, they like to be the smiths, not so much like the dwarves are a little bit different in that aspect, because the dwarves have always in the books been kind of greedy, and the elves are more like, take what you want, no big deal. And they're very at one with nature. So it's kind of interesting to see the different factions and, who came from where. And, we're just starting to get into the interesting parts, in my opinion. So
Also, the daggers the hobbits get are from made by the Noldorin.
Yes. And we get to see those soon, I think. So I'm excited about that.
Oh, good point. Yes, because we're learning the origins. We're learning the origins of jewels and the ships and the ship makers. Why not?
Yeah.
Yay. I'm sure I know the answer to all of this, but I haven't read this since like 2004. We got some comments from the chat. Snorta Poopa says, Tolkien is cute, but I draw the line at bowling. Yes. Yes. Potato Ribbon says, my granddad said that when there was a Second World War, his granddad cried and said it was all for nothing and we learned nothing. Yeah. Can you imagine going through the hell of World War I and then seeing something worse? And gosh, and then look at what's happened ever since. Bowling with Tolkien, says Antiderivative Jill. And by the way, hello, Antiderivative Jill. Great to see you here. Potato Reverend says, hold on. Since Aragorn's kid were half elves, couldn't they say, oh, I want to live forever. I want to be an elf. Could they do that, Steek?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
Sure, if they want to, they can say it.
Yeah. Would it have to be something that they would be granted? Rennie, you know anything about that?
I want to say they can do that, because that's what happened, if I remember correctly. Now, we'll find out, for sure. But I want to say that's what happened with Elrond and Elros. Elrond chose to live as an elf. Elros chose to live as a human Numenorian, if I remember right. So I want to say yes, but I could be wrong. There may have been some special stipulations that I'm not remembering because, yeah, it's been a while for me since I've read the whole thing. So,
Yeah. So if anyone in the chat can help us out with that, I love the way we all, including myself, have started saying, if I remember correctly, we're giving disclaimers. And I think we're coming by it honestly, because we're not doing it because we're doing a cop out. I will speak for myself. I'm doing it because I damn well may not have remembered it right. I just love it. Sort of Poopa says, now I have to find out if Tolkien ever bowled. Shieldwall says, yes, there were some people who fought in both wars. I wonder how that affected them. All the sacrifice. Oh, yes, you're correct. Yeah, many people were soldiers in World War I as young soldiers and then fought in World War II. Elrond, yes, Elrond was a half elf. Sort of Poopa says, Arwen given up her elvish nature when she chose to remain in Middle Earth. Oh, I think you're saying Arwen had given up her elvish nature when she chose to remain in Middle Earth. So I would say no. Oh, like almost as though her.
Oh yeah, so she wouldn't count as an elf, would she?
No.
There would be no part elf in technically in Aragorn's kid.
Well, but doesn't it say in the appendices of Return of the King that she spent her long life, the rest of her long life, just wandering in the forest and Middle Earth and just grieving for Aragorn until she just finally passed away?
Well, yeah, and she passed away because she. Oh, you're saying that the reason why she did that because she did that in very elvish fashion.
Yeah, because it said in one of these chapters that we read for this, like elves, like they have pretty much just about eternal life. However, they can die from ailments or being murdered or whatever, and they can die from grief. And I think that's why Feanor's mom died as well.
Yeah, and Elrond's wife.
Yeah.
After she got attacked by the orcs. Yeah. Keck44 says, yes, Rennie is correct about Elrond and Elros and the choice. Oh, okay.
Cool.
Yeah, Timon says, and yet she went back to the Silver Shores. Are you talking about Arwen? I'm not entirely sure she did. Didn't she just kind of croak? Oh, gosh. Everyone Google.
Yeah, because I thought she just kind of wasted away in Middle Earth with grief.
Yeah, like she lost her ticket because she gave it to Frodo.
Yeah.
Unless you're talking about another shore, and I could be fecking it up here, which is very possible. Go back 5 minutes to where I said disclaimers. I should just put a disclaimer at the beginning of this. We might mess up because it's so damn hard.
So much detail.
Timon Flip says, Arwen died of a broken heart at Caerrun, Amroth, and Lorien and was buried there 1 year after the death of Aragorn, whom she had been wedded for 120 years. She was 21,000 years old. Okay, so she was in Lorien. She was in the Elfland. She wasn't she was still in Middle Earth.
Yeah.
Unless, wait, are you saying Lorien or Lothlorien? Oh, fudge. Okay. Oh, my mistake, wrong character. Okay, I was getting confused, but I was getting scared. I was
going to say that I might be wrong, but that just sounds like that's not how it happened.
No, and I know, and I was like, oh, my insecurity was coming out because my brain cells have quit working. I was like, it sounds wrong. Okay, that's okay. Because we forgive people at Miss Martin Muses if you get one of these 200 million thousand characters that have the same names, have many parallel situations. We can. So Gondor would be ruled by elves. Yeah, that wouldn't work. We might mess up because it's damn hard. That's what she said. Yeah, she did die. Yes, I was gonna say. That's what I was saying. Like she died. I don't think she did that, but I didn't. I thought maybe you were saying she died somewhere else. She's dead. She's dead, Jim. Okay. Arwen went to Lorien, laid down the hill if she first met Aragorn and passed away. So that's a little pathetic. My gosh. Get a hobby. Take up knitting. Okay. Snortapoopaskura says at least Arwen didn't spend the rest of her life wearing a frumpy house dress, eating bonbons, and putting on weight. Hey. Are you judging women that do that? You know what? If you live to be 2,000 years old, you've earned the right to put on a frumpy house dress and eat bonbons and put on weight. Timon gives the comment of the day, I am not a biologist. And I'm not an elfologist. Oh, gosh. Okay, we're going to be winding down this party. Speak now or forever hold your peace, Stieg or Rennie. If you know of any impediments to the ending of this conversation. Sounds like we're good. Yeah, this is when it's time to quit. I need more coffee. I need more something. I need more brain cells after all of this. Well, let's start with Rennie. Hey, Rennie, are you doing anything?
I think today's pretty chill. I may be on King Dolphin TV later. It just kind of depends. But aside from that, pretty much no. Yeah, pretty chill weekend.
Okay, well that's good. I endorse chill weekends.
Yeah.
Stieg, what's going on?
Nothing. I think I have the week off.
Yay!
Woohoo! Vacation.
Yeah, yes you do. Yeah, because what is it? There's not gonna be a cringe factory this Wednesday night. Yeah, Mara is skipping, so I guess that means I won't be on there either. Yeah, I've been transitioning into Stieg, or rather, Stieg's been transitioning into me. I don't know which one. Yeah, so on the cringe factory. On Wednesday nights, and it is definitely cringe. But if you haven't subscribed to Mara's channel, please go ahead and do so. Jade Shadow, I will be here as usual and not doing anything. Oh wait, shame on me, shame on me. I am having a stream on Monday. On Monday afternoon, we are having the triple review. We're doing mockumentaries. We're doing This Is Spinal Tap, the Best in Show, and the third one's like Waiting for. I want to say. What the fuck is that? Oh gosh, now I'm cursing again.
Just say something. Like Police Academy 3. Something. Just make something up.
Okay, Police Academy 3. The mockumentary. Okay, Waiting for Guffman. Okay, so it is the best. This is Final Hat, the Best in Show, and Waiting for Guffman. We're going to be doing them at 2:00 Central on my channel on Monday. I've got Pilates, so it's an hour later than it usually is. And the way my schedule is starting to rev up because I don't want to live my life online. The first week, you will see the Once Upon a Time discussions here. On the second week, you will have the Fantasy Tavern. On the third week, the triple review. The fourth week, it will be the double pick. So the next double pick that is coming up is going to be on the last Monday of April, and it will be sports movies. But always Silmarillion here on Saturday, and you will find me also on Nina Infinity's channel on Sunday night. Potato Reverend says, you're transitioning. We support you for the true you. Okay. Marta Poopa says, is covering his furry ears.
So, just out of curiosity, isn't there a sports movie called Rudy? Like Steek's favorite name?
Actually, yes, there is. And that's my pick. You can't have it. It's mine.
Sorry, I just had to say
that. Rudy. Timon Flip will be joining us as one of the guests on that, and he's already chosen his. So the good news, what he chose was nothing close to mine. Imagine that. I've got all the girly ones, and the ones that make you cry. I don't know. Other sports movies can make you cry in other ways. So that's what's going on. We're going to wrap up this party. Thank you, everyone. For being here. The chat is great. Chat, you are the MVPs of this discussion, as are my guests. My brain is about ready to explode with all of the things that Tolkien just made me think about in the last hour and a half. Even though I had reread it, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm seeing it from a whole new light. And I hope that perhaps you have experienced that. And if you're watching this on the replay, I do appreciate you being here as well. Have a great evening, everyone. Oh, wait. It's not an evening that far. Okay, it's an evening in Norway. Having a great evening and have a great day. And be certain, if some dude's name is Melkor and he says he's changed, don't believe him.
Yeah, and don't plow them.